Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Employee Baltimore. The segment today is uh, job skills, particularly completing job applications. And I am Gerald Baker. I'll be taking you through today's presentation. I am a career development facilitator with the Mayor's Office of Employment Development. And primarily, what I do is help those job seekers, look for employment and also guide them through employment and life situations and offer resources, barrier removal, things of that nature. And that's just a quick snapshot of what I do. I've been in the agency for a few years now, several years. And I started off as an English teacher at our career academy and then a GED teacher at Northwest Career Center. Currently, I'm at the Workforce Reception Center on 23rd Street, where I am, again, a career development facilitator. So let's go into the workshop. Completing job applications is today's topic. Thank you. Okay, so the objective of this workshop, completing job applications, is for job seekers to understand the difference between a resume and application, and of course explain why both are really important aspects of employment. I will say this: the resume and the application are the two biggest tools toward getting employed. There's little margin for error to the specialist who is reviewing this type of information for advancement for job consideration. So while also using the resume to gain information requested on the application, there are other things that customers, job seekers will need. I will read ahead a little. Resumes and applications are about the applicant. They're all about the applicant because they only know what you tell them. So the ball is in your court to write down the truth as it happened as you apply to jobs. And this workshop is designed to develop individualized relevance for the career seeker. And so this workshop will give brief discussion points. However, it is online. There will be a chat available. And that's it for an introduction. How many people love their job? Oh, I love my job. I love my job. If you love your job, let me say this: keep it. I want to say job satisfaction comes in different forms. And, having the most money you could ever get does not qualify as job satisfaction. You may want to consider other factors other than just money. And you need to weigh all of that. So filling out an application is a necessary step to be considered for any job. Once you fill out the application, you turn in a resume when requested. The employer will decide whether or not they want to hire you. In order to get the job you want, you must first fill out an application. In order to love your job, you have to know the steps to get the job. Okay. Applications. This is just the beginning, a demographic section of an application. And I presume, and different companies have different processes and order or procedures, that one has already completed a resume and then asked to apply. Okay, so the main analogy, one of the main differences between an application and a resume right off the bat is this: an application is a company showing you the exact format it wants you to tell them about yourself. Again, so it's a company's perspective and how they want you to show certain things, certain order, etc. In contrast, the resume is the job seeker's way of showing exactly what they want the employers to see in the format that they want them to see it in. So that is a huge difference. The ball is in the job seeker's court, okay? If it's a resume, and in a sense, it's in the company's court in the application. So let's keep that in mind. All right. So how it differs from a resume? What is a job application? Okay. What information will I need to provide on an application? And third, what resources can you use to gather information? The internet, friends, business partners, networks, acquaintances, educators, parents. Even though the application does differ from the resume, they can be very similar, right? In some other ways. So let's go to what I call the wheel. Okay. The wheel shows you in the middle, me, you. Okay. And I have work at the top because that is my primary goal, getting employed, getting more gainfully employed, etc. And often, where it says, remember, your application shows your history in regards to work. So mostly employers want to see your work history. And then also there is place to show or demonstrate your skills on paper, pertinent trainings, especially, and sometimes other trainings, schooling, and certifications. This is not really a set order. However, I placed it in this order intentionally. Employers look at all of that. So I would say if you're looking for work and have a strong work history, you want to put down work first. There may be some specific instances where someone wants to emphasize a training before their work history in that area, as well as even a certain school or schooling. And then there's some jobs you can get with just certification. So just remember that your wheel should show your history at a glance, and it can change depending on how your life evolves. Okay, paper applications versus online applications. I know there's some who are probably laughing right now because they may be thinking, what's a paper application? Okay, well, paper applications still exist. That's when one would fill out paper and pen and actually give someone a piece of paper or mail it in. Even that's even an older version of snail mail. And online, and especially since COVID has come, online is more pertinent than it's ever been. So once a job seeker understands what an application is and its purpose, they need to know the different types. Here we introduce paper and online. Find out what you know between the two. The next few slides will give us some things to know about each. And so those are the two main ones. Again, online is definitely what is pertinent today. And so my suggestion is for those who still do paper is to get on board with doing it online. Okay. What do I need to know about paper applications? Well, they're not always available. You must be available during business hours and may not always be able to meet the hiring official. Okay. You may not be able to meet the person who is related to hiring you. And more so is you're limited to the time and the hours that that business is open. And if you're already working, that can really change the way you have to operate. And also, many companies no longer use paper applications. I will emphasize that again. And what do I need to know about paper applications? They actually can be more personal because you can get to meet the person or the people that are behind hiring you in some cases. And you get to make an impression. This is why you probably have heard or learned that practicing an introductory speech, a 30-second commercial, some call it your elevator speech. This is why it's really good to have that 30-second speech ready, because that first impression can actually be the one that gets you in the door. And I will say you also need to dress professional and have good hygiene even when dropping off or picking up an application. That's very key. Some don't realize that you really need to be professional to even pick up an application because employers look at all of that. And there's less competition. More people apply online, so you might think you might have a higher chance of being selected. So, what do I need to know about online applications? Okay. Okay. First of all, it's on the internet. So it's available 24/7, 24 hours a day for anyone to apply. Watch for closing dates and please don't wait till the last minute to apply. Also, seekers can get hired faster online. Okay. You can miss opportunities because positions move fast and there's more competition. More people apply online, so it may be harder to be chosen. Again, this is the wave of today. And you must have a computer. So you must understand emails and some basic computer technology. And if you do not have that, have someone to do that with you, for you, until you get to know to do it on your own. Next segment is online assessments. Okay. This is often the most difficult, part of the application. A lot of companies will begin with an assessment. Okay. Generally, assessments begin with asking about personality preferences. In other words, they want to know how you think. Okay. Overall, these questions will address your work ethic, performance, leadership, soft skills, and how you would approach difficult situations and deadlines. A lot of companies use these assessments and they actually use them to wean customers out before they even get to the next levels, just based on the assessment alone. Okay. And at the end of the application, employers can pull your application if you pass the assessment. Sometimes and often they do it right away. And most of them will even share how you did. I'll tell you if you passed or failed, which is interesting. How do you pass and fail an assessment? Well, you do. You can because they're looking at different qualities within a person and decision making skills. It's important to follow up once your application is completed. And keep in mind, do what a company asks you to do as far as following up. If a company asks you not to follow up, then don't get overly anxious and call them and text and email them every day. But if they tell you you can follow up after 3 days or so many days, then it's okay to ask, to inquire about your results. And that ties in with the last slide. Application follow-up. Check email, voicemail, and text daily if applicable. All right. And network with employers. That is always key. If you not if that is necessary to for some to come out of their shells and to network with employers, to just you have to know where you stand. And if you're applying for jobs, you're going to have to get out your shell if you're that person that doesn't like to, and find out, because after all, you want the job, correct? So remember to follow through with the process of applying, networking, and interviewing. These are just a couple of online tools that I'd like to mention. The Maryland Workforce Exchange, also known as MWE, LinkedIn. Most of all of us are familiar with these. LinkedIn, Indeed. And then I also would like to enter BaltimoreCity.gov. That's where the Baltimore City jobs are. And Maryland.gov. This is that's the state one. And then USAjobs.gov is the federal one. I just wanted to show the three major levels of the government chain. And pretty much all of them are online now anyway. The federal one is usually the longest, the most detailed. They ask for KSA, knowledge, skills, etc. Anyway, they call it KSAs. And that one is a very lengthy application. The states is kind of in the middle, and the city might ask for just a tad less than the state. I also want to plug in right here. I want to mention that Johns Hopkins Hospital and University, one of our big partners, no longer does online applications. They'd like to maintain a personal approach and have that process done in person. So that is something just to know. Johns Hopkins no longer takes online applications now. Okay. And how can my MOED help me find and fill out job applications? Well, good question. The one-stop centers and our other locations across the city can help us find jobs in communities and then match your interests and goals, place you in the proper trainings for advancement so that you can maybe get job advancement where you already are, or maybe achieve a longer term goal with another type job. So also the centers can help you with practicing your introductory speech so that you're more comfortable speaking to employers. That can be very important. There are many who have a very good work history, but they just, they're quiet and in the shell. They're shy about speaking, but how else are you going to get the job? Okay. So they also can help you fill out and review any job applications for errors and accuracy. That's very important because really application reviewers have a very small margin for error. And so nothing should be misspelled. It just shouldn't be. And well, that pretty much will sum it up. There should be no margin for error on the application. And also provide any supports needed to help me apply for jobs. Okay. And this is reflection questions. Now, I want to mention this. Oh, I'm just going to read this right here and come back to that other thought. These are two open-ended questions to just joggle thoughts about things that we have already discussed and maybe to propel you into further thoughts moving forward. What information do you need to have in order to fill out an application? Of course, you're going to need a decent resume, but also you're going to have the information, other information in addition to your resume available, maybe like the job addresses, sometimes supervisors' names, etc., at your fingertip. And what are important aspects to keep in mind when applying for jobs? And consider some of the softer skills and things that help you other than just the actual document of the application itself. Because the next step is hopefully being called into the office for an interview. The goal of the application is and the resume is actually for you to get the job. The resume is to get you into the door for the interview. The application could be given before or after that. Most of the time it's before that. So its job also is to get you to the job interview so that you may get hired. Okay. And questions, please. While there may be some questions coming up, this would be a great time to plug in that you're on our Facebook Live page, and we have facebook.com BALT, BALTMOED, and also the BaltimoreCity.gov website is a great source for jobs ongoing that you'll see in our agency and in Baltimore City. And I'd like to highlight the Now Hiring Job Board, which is continually updated with current jobs and more current jobs for those who are seeking employment. Again, the Now Hiring Job Board. And thank you, Ms. Catania, who is assistant in relaying the slides and all the technical aspect of things. Thank you for that website as well. So those are three great resources in addition to some of the websites that were within the presentation. And I would like to also say that we also offer many resources, especially during these days. There are more resources and information that we can guide job seekers and those who are just looking for help in different areas. Thank you for that. There's a question. Will this video be saved and accessible for people to watch later? Absolutely. In fact, it is downloaded pretty much as soon as this ends so that you can look at it continuously as much as you'd like, pass the word. I appreciate your question. Can I talk, or can you talk about a cover letter next time? Yes. Well, let me say, the answer is yes, but I don't know if it's going to be the very next time. That is one of the topics in our series of job skills. And so I'm sure we'll duly take note of that. Keep posted, Ms. Lynch, and that this is a Tuesday segment, and we definitely will plug in. Also, if you look on our Facebook Live page, it'll show you what the upcoming topics are before they come out. Thanks for that. And thank you for the good tip that I just got from Ms. Brown. Are there any more questions? Yes. Johns Hopkins no longer has online assessments. I'll reiterate that. So, and I mentioned that they would like to keep it personal and have a personal approach towards things. And that's certainly any company's prerogative. And everyone knows Hopkins is large and they have their own everything. And so if they've decided to do that, that's interesting because somebody else is probably going to do that too. Thank you. Thank you. And I thank you for your remark, Miss Karen Graves. Are there any more questions at this time? I will thank you. I appreciate you for tuning in this afternoon on the job skills segment for completing job applications. I'm Gerald Baker, and I'm with the Mayor's Office of Employment Development. I'm a career development facilitator. Tune in again, and yes, this will be saved for future viewing. Have a great afternoon. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Thank you.